Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, the place where English becomes real through powerful stories and the lives of people who changed the world. Today, we're diving into a story unlike any other. A story about a small band from the rainy corners of Washington state. A band that flipped the entire music industry upside down. A band that spoke for millions of young people who finally felt heard. This is the story of Nirvana, the group that didn't just play music. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. In the early 1990s, the world of music was preparing for a revolution that no one predicted. A revolution born not from polished studios or glamorous stars, but from the rainy streets of Washington state, from garages, basements, and forgotten towns. This is the story of a band that changed everything. A band that didn't chase fame, but found it anyway. A band that captured the emotions of millions, not with perfection, but with honesty. This is the full story of Nirvana. Fade in. Slow montage of Aberdeen, Seattle, early concerts, crowds. The Pacific Northwest was far from the centre of the musical universe. Aberdeen was a town where dreams didn't usually go far. But here lived a quiet, creative, emotional teenager named Kurt Cobain. He didn't fit into the world around him, and the world didn't seem to know what to do with him either. Music became his escape. Kurt spent hours drawing, writing, and experimenting with sound. He didn't want to imitate anyone. He wanted to express something real. Enter Krist Novoselic, a tall, gentle, thoughtful musician who shared Kurt's fascination with punk, art, and rebellion. They bonded instantly. Not as stars, but as two young people searching for meaning. Their earliest rehearsals were chaotic, loud, messy. But something was there, a spark, a chemistry, a voice waiting to be discovered. In the late 1980s, Seattle was becoming a secret paradise for underground music. It wasn't polished, it wasn't mainstream, it was raw, emotional. Bands like Soundgarden, Melvins, Mudhoney and Alice in Chains were forming the roots of a new scene. A scene that didn't care about fame, a scene built on expression. But Nirvana had something unique, melody inside the chaos. They wrote heavy riffs but unforgettable hooks. They screamed, but they also sang. They didn't choose between sensitivity and aggression. They combined both. Managers began noticing the band, labels started circling, and suddenly a new sound, the sound of grunge, was rising from the underground. In 1989, Nirvana released Bleach, a rough, loud album full of energy and attitude. They didn't expect much from it, they just wanted the world to hear their sound. Bleach didn't top charts, it didn't dominate TV, but those who heard it felt something. The album captured a band searching for its identity. Songs like About a Girl, Negative Creep and School revealed a band with enormous potential. But something was missing. The lineup wasn't stable, the chemistry wasn't perfect yet. That would soon change. Then came Dave Grohl, a powerhouse drummer with the perfect mix of precision and chaos. The moment Dave joined the band, everything clicked. He hit harder, played tighter, added energy that transformed Nirvana's live shows. Kurt, Krist and Dave instantly felt it. This was the final piece. Nirvana was no longer a local band. They were becoming a force. A year that rewrote the music industry. Nirvana entered the studio with producer Butch Vig, creating songs that blended aggression with unforgettable melodies. The band didn't intend to change the world, but that's exactly what they did. Smells Like Teen Spirit exploded. It wasn't just a hit, it became the voice of millions. MTV couldn't stop playing it. Radio stations replaced pop hits with grunge. Teenagers changed their style, their attitude, their identity. Nevermind sold millions. It knocked Michael Jackson from #1. It made grunge mainstream. It made Nirvana the biggest band in the world. But fame came with pressure, and the weight was heavy. Nirvana went from tiny clubs to global tours. They loved playing music, but hated the circus around it. Every magazine wanted them. Every reporter wanted answers. Every fan expected honesty. Kurt wasn't interested in being a celebrity. He wanted to write, play, and express, not pose for cameras. The band pushed forward, trying to stay grounded while the world demanded more. In 1993, Nirvana released In Utero. It was louder, darker, and more personal than Nevermind. The band didn't want to repeat their success. They wanted to stay honest. Songs like Heart-Shaped Box, All Apologies, Dumb, Pennyroyal Tea showed a band unafraid to confront complicated emotions. Critics praised the album. Fans connected deeply with it. It became another milestone, different from Nevermind, but just as powerful. The Unplugged performance in New York became one of the most iconic moments in music history. No electricity, no distortion, just raw, pure emotion. Kurt's voice cracked with vulnerability. Dave played softly, showing a new level of control. Krist provided calm grounding in the background. Their cover of Where Did You Sleep Last Night became legendary, one of the most emotional performances ever broadcast. This concert showed the world that Nirvana wasn't just loud, they were deep, real, powerful, without amplification. Nirvana didn't just release popular songs, they reshaped the entire idea of what rock could be. Before them, music in the late 80s was dominated by polished glam metal, perfect hair, perfect makeup, perfect solos, perfect attitude. But beneath all that shine, teenagers felt disconnected. Nirvana brought something the world desperately needed: imperfection, emotion, truth. Their sound blended, the raw power of punk, the heaviness of metal, the simplicity of garage rock, the pop sensibility of the Beatles, the emotional vulnerability of folk music. It was a combination no one expected, and exactly what the world was waiting for. Every chord felt intentional, every scream felt meaningful, every quiet moment felt intimate. Nirvana wasn't loud for the sake of loudness. They were loud because the world had ignored quiet voices for too long. Kurt's songwriting became one of the defining features of Nirvana. His lyrics weren't straightforward. They were poetic, symbolic, and emotional. Some listeners tried to decode them like puzzles. Others simply felt them. Themes found across Nirvana's songs included 1. Isolation. The sense of being different, misunderstood, or out of place. 2. Emotional honesty. Admitting pain, confusion, uncertainty, things rarely expressed in rock at the time. 3. Irony and sarcasm. Kurt often hid meaning behind humour, jokes, and contradictions. 4. Social commentary. Nirvana criticised cultural expectations, stereotypes, and hypocrisy. 5. Human vulnerability. Not heroes, not rock gods, just people. Kurt once said in an interview that he didn't want to write about what was expected. He wanted to write what he felt, and millions connected to that authenticity. Before Nirvana, major record labels were looking for the next big pop hit. After Nirvana, they were suddenly scouting underground scenes across the country. Bands from Seattle and beyond, some previously ignored, were now signed immediately. Nirvana opened the door for bands like Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Smashing Pumpkins. The alternative rock wave wasn't just a genre, it became the new mainstream. Nirvana redefined radio programming, MTV playlists, fashion, youth culture, marketing strategies. Record labels began signing raw, honest bands instead of polished pop acts. Nirvana didn't just make it big, they made the underground big. Without meaning to, Nirvana sparked an entire cultural movement. Their style, thrift store clothes, flannel shirts, messy hair, became the new cool. But it wasn't meant to be stylish. It was simply what they wore. Suddenly, fashion magazines were calling it the grunge look. Designers copied it. Brands commercialized it. But the irony? Nirvana never wanted to define a style. They just wanted to be themselves. This trend reflected a deeper message. Authenticity replaced perfection. Simplicity replaced glamour. Emotion replaced image. Nirvana helped people express individuality, not conformity. As Nirvana's popularity exploded, they toured across the world, from the US to Europe, from small clubs to giant arenas. Their concerts were raw, unpredictable, electric. Kurt would shift from whispering to screaming within seconds. Dave's drumming shook the stage. Krist brought humour and charisma between songs. Fans didn't just watch Nirvana, they experienced Nirvana. Crowds were massive, passionate, chaotic, emotional. People moshed, jumped, screamed, cried. In Europe, the band realised something powerful. This was no longer a local movement, it was global. From London to Paris, from Berlin to Tokyo, fans felt the same connection. Language barriers didn't matter, the emotion was universal. Despite their fame, Nirvana remained surprisingly humble. Krist was the calm, grounded one, often the glue that held everything together. Tall, friendly, always willing to joke. Dave was the energetic optimist, the one who brought stability and enthusiasm. His drumming was explosive, but his attitude was warm and positive. Kurt was the emotional core, creative, sensitive, deeply expressive. A visionary who cared more about honesty than perfection. Together, they created a balance that defined Nirvana. They weren't rock stars acting like celebrities. They were ordinary people who created extraordinary music. This section dives into rehearsal tapes, the band experimenting with riffs, melodies and ideas that evolved into legendary songs. Studio outtakes, moments of laughter, mistakes and improvisations that reveal the human side behind the music. Behind-the-scenes footage, Kurt quietly tuning his guitar, Dave joking with crew members, Krist making everyone laugh. Fans' stories. People describing how Nirvana's songs helped them feel understood. Band traditions on tour. Listening to old records. Joking on the bus. Sharing ideas late at night. These moments remind viewers that behind the iconic image was a group of friends, creating something together. Even after the band ended, their influence didn't fade, it evolved. Dave Grohl formed Foo Fighters, becoming one of the biggest rock acts in the world. But he always spoke respectfully about Nirvana, never trying to capitalize on their history. Krist Novoselic became involved in activism, music projects, and creative work, always honoring Nirvana's past. Why has Nirvana's music lasted decades? Why does it still feel modern? Why do millions discover them every year? Because Nirvana offered something timeless: honesty, emotion, simplicity, connection. They didn't pretend to be perfect, they didn't follow trends, they didn't chase fame. They created music because they needed to, and that authenticity continues to resonate with anyone who ever felt lost, different, or overwhelmed. Nirvana's legacy isn't just in their albums, it's in the people they inspired, the artists they influenced, the culture they reshaped. They didn't just leave behind music, they left behind a message. Being yourself is more powerful than being perfect. Thank you for watching this deep journey into the story of Nirvana, a story of creativity, struggle, connection, and impact. A story that became one of the greatest musical legacies ever created. If you want more long documentary videos like this, let me know, and I'll create the next one.